Hello.
Hello, Diva Queens.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is Andrea.
We are back. This is Lina.
And this is It's Not That Serious, the podcast.
Weekly. Bi-weekly.
Tri-weekly.
We try.
We try. And with video today.
We're on video and it's morning time again.
Yes. I'm liking this for us. Every time we're on video, and I've been on a YouTube thing lately when we were like, welcome back. I want to go, welcome back to my channel.
Welcome back to our channel.
What's new with you?
Nothing. Just been working my off.
You've been working a lot.
I have. It's like very, very busy times right now in Miami, which I'm super grateful for and very excited about because, you know, it's busier than usual. So that means like growth, I guess. And also I'm excited. I got like a couple of leads that I might maybe get an agent. So that's nice. Been playing tennis. Been trying to stay active. Still working out 3 times a week. But now I added tennis every Thursday, which I was playing tennis every Saturday, but now I'm trying to play twice a week. So we'll see. I'm trying to up my cardio. It's my struggle.
Yeah.
And I might turn my class pass back on and get back in Pilates, even though I'm so scared.
No, you just got to do it. Why are you scared?
Because Pilates is so terrible when you're like going back to it when you haven't done it, or even when you're first starting, you're like, holy this is hard.
Yeah, Pilates is hard. Oh my God, you just reminded me of something. Pilates related. My friend, shout out to Calypso, she is becoming a tremble instructor. And today she was supposed to be hosting like a instructor class.
Oh, nice.
But then I think there was like no one to oversee her. So then we were going to plan a private, but you just reminded me that I haven't spoken to her. Remembering things is difficult.
Tremble is really hard.
Yeah, because that's like Legree.
Yeah. I think that's the problem is that I don't go to traditional Pilates. I go to Legree.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, mega reformers and all that.
I've never
all
done
that
Legree.
stuff is really hard.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous to try Legree. Even though I've been doing Pilates for a long time, I've never tried Legree because it looks really hard.
So there's only one studio that is like that you're like not in excruciating pain. And that one I like to go to.
Which is that?
It's Megalith.
Oh, I never heard
It's
of
like
it.
a small one.
Okay.
Kind of like on the same street as like Niap. Like the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like a couple blocks down from like Niap. Very close to Anatomy too.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Anyway, there's an instructor there. He's the owner that I love his class and it doesn't leave you wanting to die, which is nice. But going to like Tremble or going to Solid Core is insane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of thighs, right? Like, because it's like squatting a lot, right?
Yeah, but the core part is what's really terrible for me.
Okay.
Like the thigh part's not so bad because I kind of like have always had pretty strong legs, but the core part is what kills me. Like them pikes, those pikes with all that weight on it. Oh, those are terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just, you know, trying to go to a few new restaurants or something. Nothing crazy new. What about you?
Kind of the same. I was just telling Lina I'm 5.5 months pregnant today, or not today, but as of
She's
today.
almost 6 months, guys. I was like, wait, no way. No way.
It feels really slow when you're pregnant, but also feels fast because then you're like, oh, like this human is arriving. I wanted to shout out some new things, actually. My friend Kat, who's like really into skincare and beauty, was posting on TikTok about this new product, and I went and got it. It's the Ardell Brow Glue. And I've been having a hard time finding like brow products that I like. Ardell is like most famously known for like eyelash glue.
Brow glue.
It's brow glue. It's like a at-home lamination. I'm using it right now. Look, they're like staying in place. And I had spent a bunch of money on that Merit one that people were talking really great about. Whack, not good, not worth the money. So $10 on Amazon. Sorry, I still am shopping on Amazon. It's just so
That's
easy.
pretty
I'm
good.
sorry. But yeah, it's really good. And it doesn't leave that like a residue. You know how sometimes like eyebrow products can leave like a white.
It happened to me today. I went like this and I rolled right off.
Yeah. It's so hard to find a good one. And then my second thing I wanted an update on was because the last time we spoke, I had only listened to Lady Gaga's new album, Mayhem, once. Now I listen once a day, at least.
Once a day.
Once a day. I want to say my favorite song, Zombie Boy. I just think the whole album is good. I don't skip any tracks on it. Zombie Boy, Vanish Into You, A Shadow of a Man, just fire. The whole album's so good. And then they were saying, How Bad Do You Want Me, which is going viral on TikTok, that apparently Taylor Swift ghost wrote it and that she sings some of the background on
I'm
the song.
upset. Does that make you a Swiftie?
No, but then once you have it in mind that allegedly Taylor Swift had her hand in that song, you're like, oh, I can
see it.
Yeah, you're like, I can hear that in that part. But yeah, so still loving Mayhem. I'm waiting for her to announce her tour, which I'm sure I'm probably going to be like 1,000 months pregnant when she goes on tour.
Not 1,000 months. I hope not.
Not to. Or I can't be like 2 days postpartum.
Oh,
leave
no.
the baby
Yeah.
here. Sorry, baby, I have to go.
Sorry, baby and Enrique.
Yeah. You can stay here with my mother. But otherwise, just the same. Just the same.
Trying to smooth sail through this thing.
I feel weird sometimes because I don't feel like different. Like little differences. I'm kind of tired or whatever. But generally, I don't feel that different. It feels different when he moves. I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, there's something inside me.
Yeah. It feels like a gas bubble like moving through you.
I've always found that to be so strange. There's like literally a creature inside of you.
I know. I read this thing and I'm not even like sentimental like that. My big dreams in life was never to be a mother. I was always open to it, but it wasn't like my goal. I just think it's like a strange goal. No hate to people like that, but I just think that's a strange goal. Oh, my goal to be a mother. Like, I don't know. That doesn't really seem like whatever. But this girl posted like, I'm somebody's home right now, which is a crazy thought. And I'm like, oh, I guess I am.
Yeah.
He is living there.
Yeah. That's his humble abode.
Yeah.
Shall we get into it?
Let's do it. This last week, Louboutin and Margiela dropped their collab.
They released their collab.
They released it. It's in the stores.
So there's two. There is Margiela by Louboutin and there is Louboutin by Margiela.
So they're in the stores, like in each other's stores.
They're in each other's stores. No, actually, I think they might be in their own stores.
Okay. I saw
Because
the Margiela one.
At the Margiela store, they offered me Louboutin by Margiela.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Margiela by Louboutin. Yeah. I saw the Louboutin by Margiela because they have it in the store.
Right.
Design District.
Which I thought was very cute.
I thought it was cute.
I don't know that I would purchase anything.
it. No. I like tabby flats, but I like classic tabby flats because they come up a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. Oh, and we have a podcast correction that tabby isn't just a word made up by Margiela.
Right. It is the Japanese word for split toe shoe.
There we go. Podcast correction.
It is like a historic Japanese shoe.
Yeah, because they have the...
Mm-hmm. It's a ninja shoe and it's a worker shoe.
Mm-hmm. So I like the tabby flats because I like that they come up on the front a bit more.
You don't like the toe cleavage?
I just like that they feel a little more substantial. As a former SHEIN kid, I've always been very specific about ballet flats because, that was like the uniform back in the day.
Yeah.
And I just never liked dainty looking ballet flats. I like when they have a little more to them.
Yeah.
So
you sent me a pair that was like a crystal mesh tabby Louboutin. And I guess that was what? That was Margiela by Louboutin?
Margiela by Louboutin, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And those were like super slutty. They were like toe cleavage,
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you make a ballet flat slutty? And they did it.
Yeah. I think like people don't give enough credit to like slutty shoes. And like toe cleavage is kind of sexy slutty, but you have to be open to it for sure. So for the Louboutins, they just kind of like reimagined classic Louboutin silhouettes, essentially with a tabby front.
Yeah.
Which I wonder how that feels while wearing. Like they have they're called the Margiela, which is like that kind of cha-cha heel that Louboutin does.
Yeah. It's like that dancing heel.
Oh my God, these. Yes, this is like a classic red carpet.
I like the Louboutin by Margiela that is a pump, and it's like a deconstructed pump.
That it has like panels with mesh.
Yeah. And then there's also a boot that they made, this boot.
Does it have a tabby front or no?
No, that one doesn't have a tabby front.
Something about zooming on this iPad is like...
Doesn't work?
No, it doesn't work. And you can't even click a picture because it like will open up on the side. What the hell is up with that?
I miss the days where like you clicked a picture in Google and it just took you there.
It took you there.
And it wasn't blurry.
And you could just click on it and you save it. But then it highlights the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's like now it's like all the photos are blurry. There's no like high res photo that you can get off the first page of Google.
You Google.
Yeah. But also sponsor us if you want.
So it's two different collections for each of the site. Okay, so through the Louboutin site, they actually have the crystal flat.
Right.
And then through the Margiela website,
they have like the pump and the boots and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like if you want tabbies, you have to go to Louboutin. You have to go to Louboutin.com. If you want like pumps, you go to Margiela.
Oh no, they have some of the same stuff on both.
Oh, they do?
Girl, so confusing.
So confusing.
It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl.
All right. But yes, they do have pumps without tabby front, and it looks like the red goes up the back of the shoe.
Yeah, that was interesting. It has like a paintbrush in the back, like a paintbrush red.
Christian Louboutin, before he had his own like brand, he would design shoes for other designers, and he would do stuff for specific for like runway shows. And famously, he was the designer that made the Saint Laurent, the opium shoe, which is like the monogram heel shoe, which are like really popular and have been around for a long time, but they're like notoriously uncomfortable. But they were originally like runway shoes.
Oh, it's the one that has the YSL.
Yeah, the monogram
actual heel. Oh, yeah.
And then they like resurrected them. They were by Christian Louboutin.
Wow, fun fact. I mean, I respect his perspective on like sexy shoes. I just don't, it's for a specific girl, and I'm not that girl anymore.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, like if you had a red bottom sole, that was like, wow.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
There's an Instagram video that I saw. I don't know if it was a TikTok video or an Instagram video, but it was like, tell me your mom was a hot girl without telling me your mom was a hot girl. And she has on all her mom's Louboutins, and they were like the triple stacks. Like,
like the
like
dafts.
this lady must have been like paid, or she was taken care of, because I'm talking about one after the other, after the other, after the other. She had the full collection, like Nicki Minaj style, you know?
Beyonce was big into the daffodils too, like famously. That was her shoe back in the day. She'd wear them to like basketball games, and I would always think, because I had one pair of them, like the dafts, and I'm like, how the do these people walk around in these?
I had a slingback that I recently sold on Depop for like $120.
Yeah.
Somebody came up on those.
Yeah, but you can get even like Manolos you can get for like such a good price now. It always just depends on like what's trending.
Well, now Manolos are trending, so now they're like overpriced. But before you could get them on
the real
for like $60.
Yeah, yeah. I have a pair.
Now
of
they're
Louboutins
like $300, which is still affordable. But before you could get them
for like 90, 60. I have a pair of Manolos like that I got for super cheap, like maybe $60, and then some Louboutins too that I used to wear all the time that I got them for like nothing.
I like the concept. I know that it was born from the most, well, actually, that was probably Jean Paul Gaultier's last collection. his last collection, which went viral, is such a beautiful collection.
Yeah.
For Margiela, and in that runway, they had the Louboutins.
Louboutins, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it just kind of is like also a statement to like the state of the fashion industry right now, that like a lot of these bigger brands have to like resort to collabs to kind of like draw business in.
Yeah.
And it's like the cash grab. It's just like an ultimate, like an easy like pump into the business, just like a little boost here and there of these like capsule collections or like special limited collections with collabs. I like automatically think of like Balenciaga, because they're kind of the ones that like made that really popular and like more mainstream for these like big houses to do.
Yeah. Well, what was unseen before wasn't it Balenciaga Gucci? Or what was it?
Oh, the hacker collection.
Yeah, like
Where it was like Balenciaga, Gucci.
that was the first time we ever saw two big houses collaborate.
Oh, there was Fendace, but you have to look at the timeline. Fendi and Versace.
Fendi,
did it.
Versace. I think Balenciaga Gucci was first.
Maybe. But even before that, they would do like Adidas and Balenciaga. Like they would still do like big names, but that was like
Yes,
designer,
but not
designer.
not
Yeah.
like two houses that are supposed to be like competitors, you know, not direct competitors, but just at the same level of luxury. Like
Yeah.
it's always been like, you know, a designer house with a sportswear brand, or like a designer house with an independent designer, or a designer house with, but for it to have been, when I saw that, those collaborations where it was like the two design houses, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
We were already deep in the collab space,
And it was
but
funny.
they took it like another level.
I think that Gucci for Balenciaga, which would then put it in the Balenciaga store, that was more successful than the other way. Than the Balenciaga for Gucci, that didn't do as well.
Oh, I didn't know they made two
Yeah, it went like that too.
the same way. Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Fendi, Versace.
Fendi, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they've really cheapened their name with a lot of the collabs they've done, especially when they were like the first one to do something with Skims.
Yes.
And I was like, oh God, we've lost the plot. Like we've completely lost the plot with the Skims.
yeah. And well, hello, now Skims Nike.
Oh, people are not happy about Skims Nike. Have you seen anything with that?
I haven't really paid attention. I saw that it's happening, and I saw that I don't know, they're taking over. Because for it to already be the official underwear of the NBA and the WNBA and the not the MLB.
They did
right?
the Olympics too.
And the Olympics, like they're making money moves. I get it, but you know,
I think that's like the only successful business that they've had.
probably.
Because even everything else is kind of defunct at this point. Like the beauty brands, the huge issue, like drama that was all around Kylie Cosmetics and the sale of that brand. And then when it came to light, they were like forging the tax returns. But Skims kind of seems to be the only one that's like actually stuck for all these years.
Yeah, technically, low-key, it has a little bit of a cult following, which that's the goal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I worked with a model on this Birkenstock job I just did, and someone complimented his sweatsuit, and he goes, oh, it's Skims. It's women's. Like it was a guy, and he
Yeah.
was wearing the women's Skims sweatsuit. And he was also in the Skims underwear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, is he like a
He loves
Skims
Skims.
stan? And I'm like, or maybe he just did a Skims job and got some pieces, you know?
I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking about that they went to Manhattan and they're like, the line for the Skims store was ridiculous, like 2 hours, blah, blah, blah.
Well, if
People
you
are
go to the
hardcore.
Aventura line, to the Aventura store, that store is always popping.
Yeah. People are hardcore about the Skims,
And
which is
they're-
like all that stuff is on Amazon. Like
Yeah.
you can get that same exact stuff on
Yeah,
Amazon.
but they're like really opening these stores. Like it's like a new store every month
Yeah.
somewhere.
We'll see how that goes. That can actually be usually like the downfall of a brand too, is like expanding into like brick and mortar too fast too.
Right. I agree.
I
With,
think.
you know, I mean, it kind of brings us to our next topic.
Forever 21.
Forever 21 is filing for bankruptcy
Chapter 11.
Chapter 11 bankruptcy for the second time within the last 6 years.
So chapter 11 is when they just restructure, right?
I think so.
Because there's chapter 9 and 11, and it's two different things.
Yes. They are filing for chapter 11, but technically in 2019, Forever 21 filed for bankruptcy. They were struggling to kind of adapt to the lower mall traffic and all that. And so it closed 100 stores in 2020, 100 storefronts. But this time they are closing more than 200 and possibly all 350 US stores, which is a big deal.
Yeah, of course. I think they just couldn't learn how to pivot. Fast fashion is now you're shopping for it online versus going to the store. Because I remember when I was in college, on Fridays or Thursdays, we would go to the mall. We would go to Forever 21 and we would get our going out outfit.
Yeah.
You can get a whole outfit for under $100, including the shoes.
Oh, absolutely. You might be blister mommy, but at least you got cute shoes on. So the company's trying to sell itself or find another solution. But if no buyer steps in, liquidation is likely. And then basically the brand's parent company, Catalyst Brands, is also in financial trouble. So they're undergoing their own bankruptcy in the process.
Oh, wow. So the parent company is...
The parent company is actually going through financial turmoil as well, which Catalyst was made when the company of JCPenney and this other company Spark, right? So those two companies made a company called Catalyst. So technically Forever 21 is owned by the same company that owns JCPenney, which is why I guess now you see Forever 21 in JCPenney. I don't know if you've noticed that. Yeah, so JCPenney has a Forever 21 section within. But then I was doing research on whether or not JCPenney is safe, and it seems like they are, which I'm who is keeping JCPenney alive? And we have a cameo.
Cat cameo.
Cat cam.
I'll get the men's jeans at and they have Sephora's inside of them.
They do, which that was probably a good move. Because for me, JCPenney and Sears were kind of in the same.
Yeah.
And then Sears completely
I find
died.
Sephora's background business moves kind of confusing too, because they're technically owned by LVMH, but you'll find them inside of a JCPenney's. You'll find them inside of a Kohl's.
That's true.
So it's I
wonder if JCPenney and Kohl's are owned.
You'll find Sephora-owned brands inside of Ulta now too.
Oh yeah, they're cross-populating.
Yeah, so I'm what's going on back there?
Yeah. Essentially, RIP to Forever 21 with online competitors like SHEIN and Temu, right? Which who's shopping there?
I know,
but I guess the world is shopping there. I go to my package room to pick up packages, and all I see is SHEIN and Temu.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend. He gets his baby clothes there for his baby because babies run through stuff so fast, and
I mean it's true.
And and they destroy it, so you don't feel as bad, and it's expensive.
You're this onesie, 20 cents.
Exactly. And I've been planning my baby shower, and I didn't know Shein's basically kind of Amazon.
Like an Amazon.
Yeah. So I started looking at baby shower decorations on there, and you can get stuff for so insane. And you don't feel horrible spending money on stuff that's kind of a one-time use, which is, I feel horrible even saying it because of the climate and stuff. But I downloaded the app to put a cart together, and I'm you could get a seizure on that app because it's pop up, spin the wheel, you want a prize, $400 off, buy now.
How do you shop?
No, you can't. It's every 5 seconds, it's 20 seconds or your $400 goes away. Why the seizing?
That's hilarious. I've never been on there. now I gotta go just to witness it. But yeah, the end of an era,
I feel Forever 21 is slightly less insidious than SHEIN, which sounds crazy. It's kind of how a Zara doesn't hurt my soul as bad as shopping at Temu or SHEIN.
I wonder where Forever 21 originated. I want to
Los Angeles.
It's LA?
Yeah.
Really?
I was reading Forever 21 is originally a Los Angeles
company?
based company. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there was also another set of news that the Neiman Marcus flagship store in Dallas is closing its doors after like 100 and or like two, I don't even know how many years, 178 years, almost like 200 years.
Wow.
Which is like, you know,
It's a historic landmark.
yeah, Neiman Marcus is a originally
Yeah.
Texas company. And the first one ever was in Dallas. And it's just kind of like the temperature of everything now.
It looks like Dallas is trying to like pretty up a deal for Neiman Marcus to stay.
Yes.
In Dallas because it is like a historic landmark. I'm sure it does bring in a lot of tourist traffic and like foot traffic to Dallas as well.
And the building is beautiful, but what are they going to do with the building? Knock it down?
Yeah, so Dallas is dangling a financially beneficial opportunity to keep Neiman Marcus downtown. I wonder if the
But
inside,
probably in a different building.
I mean, no, I think it will be like
The same building?
So basically, the letter is signed by like the Dallas Consortium, which is a group of local city and business leaders seeking to keep the downtown store operating. And in the letter, it says, "We understand that you have previously publicly stated your desire to close the Neiman Marcus downtown flagship, but we believe that by keeping it open a few months longer, you will have time to capture the opportunity we wish to discuss." So yeah, the local business group is trying to like keep their economy.
Yeah.
By keeping the Neiman Marcus open. I would have to ask my husband. My husband worked for Neiman Marcus for a long time, and he actually flew to Dallas because they have these like yearly employee summits kind of things. And I wonder if it's kind of like Macy's Herald Square, that it is like a historic department store, the original.
I think I've been.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one year, the stylist that I used to work for, she styled a Neiman Marcus runway show that was hosted there in that Dallas historic place. And yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the offices there too, I believe.
Yes, exactly. It's like the corporate offices as well.
It looks like they were Neiman Marcus was unmoved by that letter, and they were like, it's far more complicated than that. So like they just have to move forward with closing it. But yeah, I mean, like I'm not surprised that it's far more complicated. They're also like merging into Saks.
Right.
So it's like Saks bought Neiman's because it was like Hudson Bay Company. Like HBC bought Neiman's, which HBC already owns Saks.
Right.
And so now they're acquiring Neiman's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they probably looked at the numbers and they're like, this don't make any sense.
Oh, yeah. It says Saks closes Neiman Marcus's headquarters, tells vendors payments will be late, which is adding to the ongoing saga of Saks not paying their vendors. And now they're CCing Neiman Marcus into their bullshittery.
Yeah. I sent Drea a video on Instagram that there was a girl who posted originally about all of the backstory of all the vendors not getting paid via like Saks and how Saks sent out a letter, you know, saying that you're going to get paid, but you're going to get paid in installments. Meanwhile, the CEO of the company is like at the Super Bowl in a suite, like just blowing money fast, you know?
Having influencer events.
Right. Having like these big events, you know, pumping money out, but like the vendors can't get paid. So apparently that girl got reached out to by Neiman Marcus, or I guess Neiman Marcus reached out to Instagram, and they had her video taken down because apparently she screenshotted his images from his very public
copyright.
Instagram and put them on that video she made about the whole situation. And then Instagram hit her with
Like a copyright
thing. But it's like,
she disputed it though. No, they just don't want that information out there. But now, like the bell's been rung, and all these vendors are coming forward because they've screwed over like a lot of really small vendors. And I don't think people realize like how big these orders are. It's like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of orders that these vendors are then like producing the product, and then they're just never getting paid for it. That will like bankrupt a small brand.
yeah. And even though like the items are selling in the store, they're still not, you know, they're not getting
paid for it.
They're not getting first of all, the initial payment. And then second of all, the the payment throughout.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I don't know. You can even see it when you go to Saks, because I'm sorry, but I have to shop, and I go to Saks and I buy.
Don't be sorry.
I buy some stuff, you know, but you can see it. You can see like that they don't carry specific brands anymore because the brands have been pulling out.
It also looks like Neiman Marcus's issue is also a matter of like a leasing issue. They were in a 99-year lease.
Right. It's a leasing issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because apparently, like that building, I guess the landlord was like, let them know that they're not going to renew the lease.
That's interesting. Because then it's like, okay, what are our plans with this building?
But it's also like, why not just buy the building?
I know. I know. Kering did that. Like they started buying
their locations.
Mm-hmm. Because they were opening some crazy. They closed a really historic house's location because they bought the building and are opening like some giant Gucci inside of it. That was like a big news story. I don't know if you remember that. And people are like, is this really what we want here? Like, wasn't it like Ralph Lauren's or something? It was like a really historic building that got bought. And then they're like, oh, because
where, like in New York?
Yeah. In Manhattan. It was like a story earlier this year. Well, actually late last year, rather.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie The Founder? It's about McDonald's.
I was gonna say, isn't that about McDonald's?
Yeah. But like that's their claim to fame. Their business model is actually more real estate than it is fast food.
Selling the food. Yeah.
Like where they make the most money is the real estate portion.
Yeah, that's why like a lot of the times when these huge companies that have been around for a long time are talking about like, oh, a leasing issue, I'm like, that is so strange to me.
Yeah. Another strange thing that is happening in fashion, Demna is going to Gucci.
Demna is officially going to Gucci.
How do you feel about that? Because I feel like you worked at Balenciaga, right?
My husband did.
Oh, your husband did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm not very knowledgeable of like Balenciaga in general present day. And I just don't like the trolling of like Demna. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan.
Not a fan of his work.
Yeah. Of the ridiculousness of his work.
Yeah. I do think when it gets to a point where a creative director has like gone off the rails where it's like really not anything synonymous with the actual house, it's kind of like, what's the point of you even being here under this brand?
But the thing is, you can't deny where he's taken the brand. And the cult following that he has, right? And I think like maybe that's what Gucci was looking for. They're looking for that's what people are looking for nowadays. That cult following. That oh, we're gonna get this designer, but we're gonna get everyone that comes with him, all the customers that come with him.
I think like these big parent companies are looking for fast solutions for like long problems, which is like Alessandro's Gucci. The business was turning down. They parted ways. He went to Valentino, which Kering Group owns like part of Valentino, and they're slowly purchasing more of it over time. They instated Sabato De Sarno at Gucci, and I think he was doing a really great job.
He lasted 2 years.
They didn't let him cook because the
numbers didn't.
Yeah, they rely so much on Gucci's business globally to drive the rest of the businesses.
And it takes time.
It takes time. They didn't let him cook.
Yeah.
So their fast solution is implementing someone that has had in the past proven results, but has not had those results as of the last few years, to plug him in somewhere else for, again, an influx of cash, I'm assuming, and a different client base. So it's just kind of like, honestly, it's putting Gucci in a strange position because aesthetically, what's that going to look like? And then there's a huge client base at Balenciaga where it's like, well, are we going to continue on with this with someone else? Or are we just going to completely flip the script? They're going to Celine it where you lose all of your existing clients and you have to start over from zero, basically.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's a tough spot for Balenciaga and it's a tough spot for Gucci. You're right. What I didn't realize was how long Demna has been with Balenciaga. Like I feel like time has just flown by, and I didn't even think about the fact that it was like 2015.
Yeah, it's been like a decade.
Yeah, so it's been a decade. But for those who don't know, Demna is Georgia born, not Georgia the state, Georgia the country. And he moved to Germany, and then he graduated from the Academy of Fine Arts in Antwerp, Belgium, which is where the Antwerp Six also emerged from, along with Mason Margiela. So many people come out of Belgium.
Yeah.
And then in 2006, he graduated. In 2009, he went directly into working for Margiela. And then in 2013, he moved to Louis Vuitton under Marc Jacobs, which is like another legend. I mean, he has a good resume, good pedigree, technically. Or how do you say it in the art world? Damn, there's a word for it. I forgot it. But then in 2014, he founded Vetements, which is like kind of crazy for him. He founded Vetements in 2014, won the LVMH prize, and then got brought onto Balenciaga in 2015. Like, had a streetwear brand for 1 year before he got brought onto Balenciaga. And then he handed it
to his brother to take over. Yeah. It's kind of the same situation as Alessandro. Like, you can't deny their impact on like pop culture, aesthetics, trends over the last decade, but it does get to a point where you have such a specific aesthetic that it does become stagnant.
Yes. And this topic now is to like just troll us. Like, how far can I push it to make people look ridiculous that they're still going to be buying my designs?
Yeah.
And it's like, it just keeps getting further and further away from like, I mean, none of those super extravagant, crazy pieces are anything that I want to wear. I'm just not. And I'm definitely not going to spend any money on for example, I'm not spending $900 on a shoe that has like a strap over a toe and then just like a plastic.
The sandal
thing.
Yeah.
That sandal thing that we were talking about. Like, I'm just not. The only way that it's going to work is if he like leaves that stuff behind and is able to like evolve Gucci in a way that's like true to Gucci, but also has like a portion of him in it, you know, which is obviously that's the dream, but I don't know that he can.
I think Gucci itself has such a identity crisis, like that it truly just does not know like what the aesthetic like truly is. I think
it started from Tom Ford.
Yeah. And Sabato De Sarno was actually like replicating, not even like redesigning, just like reintroducing Tom Ford designs in his collections, which I think was interesting and beautiful. And people do want that now. But even that, is that like even true to the house Gucci? Like, what is Gucci known for?
Yeah, well, I think that's the problem. When they were questioning what they were known for, they brought in Tom Ford, and Tom Ford did all of that goodness, right?
He Tom Forded it,
made it sexy, right? But it was also, that was the era. It was the sexy era, you know? I don't know if we're in a sexy era right now.
I don't know what we're in. I feel like we go back and forth. They say there's like specific aesthetics to like recessions historically.
Yes.
Pop music is supposed to be the best during recessions. I look on the internet, there's always like a new micro trend. I came across this one called Office Siren, and there was this girl that went viral because she lost a 6-figure job dressing like an office siren to work.
Yes.
So it's like, I think the young generation is having a hard time finding their identity as well. They're constantly being fed image, micro trend. So people that are constantly online don't have their own point of view. So it's like, I think it's also affecting designers now who should be setting the trends. They're trying to chase
They're trying to get things to trickle up.
Yeah.
So it's trickling up from the public instead of trickling down to the public.
Yeah.
That's how the trends are going as of now. People, they're getting their trends off TikTok. And it's also like, there's just so much changing in the fashion space right now that it's a little bit chaotic. And I think like this is kind of like the most chaotic it's been in a while.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of turmoil and growing pains. even like, which kind of leads into our next topic, which is Donatella stepping down from Versace, and they're in the process of being acquired by Prada.
Which I feel like could be a good look if Prada's gonna keep it going.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, the new person that they appointed to be the Versace creative director after Donatella stepping down, Dario Vitali, he came from Miu Miu. So that all aligns with Prada.
Right. But which like they announced before they've announced that the acquisition is actually done with.
The acquisition is still in process.
It's still in process, but it is happening.
Yeah.
Right. And so what was the conflict there with Donatella having to step down apparently because she couldn't use the Versace name to get acquired by Prada?
I don't know if that's like actually anything legitimate because Page 6 keeps running these articles that it's like she was ousted, she was forced out by men so they could like move forward with the acquisition. But then when you click into the articles, there's not really anything there. It's just like a headline.
They're trying to get you, it's clickbait, basically. At least it's Muccia buying Versace and she's a woman. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it's literally her, but at least she's the head of Prada.
Like the family is still like Prada's still like owned by the family.
Right.
I heard she's a stone cold.
I mean, she has a slide in her office to give her joy. Do you think it gives her joy? Have you seen that slide she has?
No, but
it's the same designer as the slide that's in
Aventura Mall. That's exactly what I was going to say. One of my best friends worked for Prada for like 20 years and he's like a hardcore Prada head. Like he started in like 1999 at like Prada Sport on like Madison. Like he's like hardcore Prada person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he told me that the other day.
Yeah. Oh, Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's like coverage in Muccia's offices. And I think there's even a video of her going down that slide.
Yeah. I don't know. Because then if you hear the standards of how Prada stores are ran, there's like no joy in that. It's like every pencil has to be the same amount of sharpened and facing the same way. And
really?
Yeah. It's like the standards are like specific beyond.
Wow. What do we think is in store for Versace?
Sexy.
Versace. And what do we think is in store for Donatella? I mean, I think she deserves to live a fabulous life.
Well, she was actually moved into a brand ambassador role.
Right.
So they said she's going to be doing philanthropic things for Versace. I'm sure that has to do with some way of like... so she can still make money from the brand.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when you're in the royal family, you have to do your little like philanthropic
do your little dance
so you can get all your money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's 69 years old. I think she deserves to like relax.
She deserves to
she
chill.
was there for 28 years.
What a diva. Mm-hmm. She was the only person that could have taken over that brand for her brother, you know? I feel like
she did a good job.
I think, the last few years, maybe not as great. I don't know if she had it very much say.
I know in like the retail landscape, like store wise, they've floundered a bit, like also trying to decide what direction they're going in again, because like, I think retail and luxury clients are like going through like growing pains, and retailers are having a hard time like understanding like who their client is. And so like specifically for Versace, it's like, are we the super gaudy label brand, or do we want to mature and go towards a more like sophisticated look? So it's like, what is making us money? What do we want to look like? Like they're just having a hard time identifying.
I feel like for a moment they had pulled back from like such logo mania, and they were making like some decent things,
and then they don't make money.
And then they had to go back to like the logo mania, where like now you go into a Versace store and you're like, I can buy in here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not dressing a person who is like extravagant.
Yeah.
And that's actually not my style either.
No.
It's not my vision for any client that I have. It's like just overdone. But I do see where people can make it look good. You know?
I think it's like, you have to have a really keen eye. You have to like pick things that work in a certain way. You can't be like specifically in one brand. And that's kind of like the most chic people, they're not like all wearing one brand.
No.
They're mixing different things too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Donatella deserves to take a chill pill. And I would like to think that maybe Prada and the creative director of Miu Miu, wherever he came from, maybe would lean into some Y2K stuff.
yeah, I mean, whatever was going on at Miu Miu the last few years, that's obviously been working for them.
Yeah.
So Versace has a big archive, and
They
aesthetically, like their late 90s, early 2000s was really strong for them.
Really strong, yeah.
So that could be interesting. I feel like they tried to do that like a couple years ago, and they kind of like missed
the mark.
more so like the timing, because the timing can be tricky, because a brand can do something really perfectly, but if it's not at the right time, it won't even matter. It's not going to be received well.
It's true. Yeah.
So
It can't be too early.
I don't know.
It can't be too late.
It feels like so much is up in the air right now, fashion wise.
It does. It does. It feels like, where are we going? What are we doing?
Where are we
What
going?
are we wearing?
What are we wearing? I don't know, girl.
We have a listener question.
Listener
question of the week. Boop, boop.
We want to thank you for submitting your listener questions. You can submit them directly to us on Instagram. It's Not That Serious the Pod, or you can email us at It's Not That Serious This Week at Gmail. What do we have? What do we have?
Okay, so our listener question. If you had a brand and you passed away, would you want it to continue?
Oh my God, that's loaded.
It's loaded. I feel like obviously you want your name to continue. So it's kind of like, maybe that's the reason why everyone, like, that's the reason why like people feel like they have to continue the brands and
legacy,
the
narcissism.
legacy. Yeah, like you want like your name to live on.
Mm-hmm.
But like how we talked about where Tom Ford, like,
Yeah, like what are we doing over there?
although he hasn't passed away, Alexander McQueen, like he said it. He's like, burn it down.
They didn't listen.
They didn't listen.
Yeah, I think it would depend. Like, is it a namesake brand? Like, is the brand is my name? Or
Right.
is it like,
Let's say if it was your name.
uh-huh.
If it was your name and you had it for 10 years.
For 10 years, I guess I would want to keep it going in a way, because it's kind of like you build a legacy for like those who are going to come after you.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think I would want that business to continue on for like something for like my kid. You know?
I feel like maybe like if I had kids, I would like to put something in there that was like when they become 18, when they're 18, like this brand is theirs or whatever. But it's like, who makes the decision? Like, what if it's like, what if you're rolling over in your grave? Like, why did they pick that person?
I know. Maybe you have to like then stipulate like, because you know, like even with trust funds, there's stipulations like you can't do this or do this when you're whatever amount. You have to go to college to get it.
Yeah.
So maybe you could stipulate
Yeah.
like no Demna, no Alessandro.
Yeah.
So don't sell for less than $1 billion.
Assuming that we were on that
level.
design level.
Exactly.
But it's true. It is a tough decision because it's like, then it's also like you kind of put that burden on, like you put the burden on your family to like keep the name alive, and like,
yeah,
what
like,
if
they don't have passion
or
for
like
it?
they can't, they just like can't.
Yeah,
you
sell
know?
it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. I think those are also conversations you would need to have with them while you're still living.
Well, yeah, communication is key.
So,
yeah.
damn, what a complicated question.
That was a tough one. All right. I think that is all we have for you guys today.
That is all we have. We want to thank you guys for tuning in every other week, staying up to date with us on Instagram or TikTok. It's Not That Serious the Pod. Again, you can submit any topics or questions to It's Not That Serious This Week at Gmail. You can follow me on all platforms at Drea the Angel.
And you can follow me at Lina Gosh on all platforms.
We love you guys. And remember,
It's not that serious.